Lyon. From ancient Roman ruins to ultra-modern museums, this city has it all. Let's take a look. Lyon is situated on the confluence of two of France's greatest rivers, the Rhône and the Saône. It's either the second or third largest city in France, depending on where you draw the line. The city proper has about 500,000 people, but this goes up to over 2 million when including the metropolitan area. The history of the city dates back to ancient times. It was once the capital of the Gauls during the Roman era and also the birthplace of two Roman emperors. In medieval times, Lyon changed hands a few times before eventually coming under French control in the 14th century. During the Renaissance, the city blossomed due to the silk trade and also became a key literary city and was home to many important writers. Lyon is now a thriving and modern city, renowned for its food and culture, and it's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So let's take a look at the top 10 reasons why you should visit this fascinating city. And a quick note to say, I had a difficult time picking only 10 places, so if you disagree with my choices, be sure to let me know why in the comments. Let's start in Lyon's finest public square, Place Bellecour, which sits roughly between the two great rivers. It is the third largest square in France and the biggest pedestrian-only square in Europe. In the centre of this huge square is a statue of Louis XIV. The square is surrounded by elegant 19th century buildings. It's a really great location to hang out and watch all the people, but from the north side there are also amazing views of Fourvière Hill. A short walk from the square is the River Saône, where you can take in more wonderful views of the city. Across the river is the Cathedral Saint-Jean-Baptiste. Building started in about 1180 and was mostly completed by 1476. Yeah, it took a long time to build stuff back in those days. The building is a mixture of Romanesque and Gothic architecture. On the inside, the magnificent nave is almost entirely Gothic, with its pointed arches and rib-vaulted ceiling, as well as amazing stained glass windows. The cathedral is home to the famous Lyon astronomical clock, one of the oldest in Europe. Once you are done looking around the cathedral, be sure to spend some time exploring the old town nearby. Here you can wander around historic streets and explore secret passages and courtyards, as well as interesting museums and lots of good places to eat. Here are some highlights. Our next destination is the Basilica of Notre-Dame de Fourvière, which sits just above the cathedral on Fourvière Hill. You can reach this church by riding the funicular railway all the way up, but this can get very overcrowded, so you can skip the queues by hiking up the hill. It's steep and takes about 15 to 20 minutes. At the top is the magnificent and usually very overcrowded church. It was built between 1872 and 1896 and is a mixture of architectural styles. It is lavishly decorated inside and outside. Although busy, it's still worth going inside to admire the amazing nave, which is one of the most splendidly decorated spaces I've ever visited. Almost every part of it is covered in amazing glittering ornamentation, details and frescoes. It's quite dazzling. While you're here, don't forget to visit the lower church directly underneath the main building. Just outside the church is a viewing area with amazing views over the city. A short walk from the Basilica are some amazing Roman ruins. Here you'll find an extensive and free-to-enter park with two ancient Roman theatres as well as the LUGDUNUM museum, which requires a small fee, but trust me, it's worth it and I recommend going in there before exploring the ruins below. The museum was opened in 1975 and houses an extensive collection of Roman artefacts from around the old Roman city of LUGDUNUM and also surrounding areas. Spread over multiple floors you can see ancient sculptures, weapons and everyday objects, as well as brilliantly preserved mosaic floors such as this one known as the Circus Games Mosaic, which dates from the 2nd century. The building itself is also quite exceptional and was designed by Bernard Zerfus around a long spiral concrete ramp that leads nicely down through the collection and then out into the open-air rooms. This extensive site has 2 theatres, including the Grand Theatre, which dates back to 15 BC and could originally hold about 10,000 people, and it still gets used sometimes today. The theatres are built into the sides of the hill, and from the top you can also get these great views over them with the city skyline in the distance. It is also a great location to stop and watch the sunset. Also on Fourvière Hill, and a short walk from the Roman ruins, is a garden of Curiosities. This small park is the best place to see views over the city of Lyon, and being a little further out is much less crowded than the more famous viewpoint by the Basilica. So I recommend coming here to watch the sun go down and see all the city lights come on. It's really cool. Heading back down and across the river, we find one of the best art galleries in France, the Museum of Fine Art. The museum is located on the Place de Terreau. This grand open space is worth looking around before entering the gallery, as it contains the stunning 17th century town hall as well as the impressive Bartholdi fountain. The museum occupies a former convent and contains one of the greatest collections of art in Europe. Perhaps the most spectacular space is the sculpture hall, which is inside the former abbey's church. The museum really has everything, all the way from ancient Egyptian artifacts, medieval masterpieces and famous impressionist paintings. You'll need to spend a few hours here at least to see everything. So here is a small selection of the highlights. For the final 3 locations, you'll need to make use of Lyon's extensive and handy public transportation network to get around. I'm sure all that sightseeing made you hungry, right? Good thing Lyon is famous for food. Near the main train station is the Liao de Lyon. This huge covered market was built in 1971 and is full of tasty food and restaurants. Just outside is a large modern and round car park. On top there is a roof garden with some great views over the city, especially of the modern skyline nearby. There are also some bars up here, but they weren't open when I visited in winter. Maybe it's just too cold. Located to the north of the city centre is Lyon's biggest park, the Parc de la Tête d'Or, or Park of the Golden Head. This place is huge, covering 117 hectares. The park was opened in 1857 and is free of charge. Inside the park you will find many things. Firstly, the Botanic Gardens, which contains about 15,000 plants, as well as these impressive old greenhouses, which include many tropical species. Also in the park is a free-to-enter zoo. This zoo houses animals from all over the world, the highlight being the African plain, where you can see large mammals including some wonderful giraffes. Our final location is the Confluence Museum, which is situated where the 2 mighty rivers converge. This unique looking modern building was opened in 2014. Its deconstructivist design is said to resemble a crystal cloud of stainless steel and glass. Not sure what that means, but the exterior of the building is fascinating to look at, so it's worth spending a little time to walk around and have a look, especially by walking down to the tip of the peninsula where you can see both rivers joining together. The museum contains an extensive collection centered around nature, science, art and history, with many floors to explore. The highlight for me was the dinosaur skeletons, but there's a bunch of other cool stuff as well. The building itself is also fun to explore with a large atrium with winding ramps and stairways. You can also get onto the roof for some nice views over the city. That's it for my Lyon Top 10. Don't forget to let me know if I missed anything important, and if you don't mind, please do like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching and have a splendid day.